blind guy to shreds, which is it's quite a crazy scene. So the poor guy has his seeing eye dog rip him to shreds. Not a fun way to go. And now I'm just kind of going along with different events that happen in the film. We also have a scene where this lady is driving down the street, kind of a cool scene. She's listening to music. She's driving down some street in her Volkswagen Beetle and listening to rock music and stuff. And then next thing you know, we see that a cheetah has spotted her. And she stops her car, gets out. Something's wrong with the engine, of course, because that's always what happens in these movies. She gets out, tries fixing it. She notices the cheetah, gets back in the car. Somehow she didn't do anything. She literally went to the back of the car and was like putting her finger on the bumper, and somehow that fixed the car. So she gets back in and drives off, and then the cheetah starts chasing her, and we get this pretty cool scene where she's just like a high-speed chase with a cheetah, and it's chasing the car, and it's a well-filmed shot, and it's really cool. So they're driving, and then next thing you know, she speeds by the scientist lady, the little kid's mom, her boyfriend, who, like I mentioned, works at the zoo. He's driving with another guy because they're driving around town trying to find all these escaped animals because they think they can tame them. And they see this happening, and the guy's like, "Oh my God, look at that lady. She's being chased by something." Or no, he's like, "Oh my God, what's she doing? She's speeding." And the guy's like, "Oh, actually, she's being chased by a cheetah." And it's just such a weird scene the way it is. And then they obviously turn around and start to go on the pursuit themselves, helping get this cheetah. And the guy's like, "Just run it over." So while this lady is still racing away in her Volkswagen Beetle from this cheetah, she actually swerves and hits a motorcycle driver, and it's hilarious. It's not supposed to be funny, but she hits this motorcycle driver, and the guy literally like fucking flies like 20 feet in the air and goes right through like a windshield and bounces off. And the guy driving with this other guy, who I think might be a police officer, they're in like a police car. They just look over, and he's like, "Oh, poor guy. Well, let's keep chasing the cheetah." Like just the way he says it, he's like, "Oh, poor guy. He like, literally just went through a windshield. This guy's like probably dead." It's just a funny scene. It's one of those scenes that I don't think is supposed to be humorous, but it ends up being. So kind of just going on with other events that happen in this movie now. And obviously, if you're going to watch the movie, I wouldn't continue with this review because I'm kind of giving away all the main things that happen. We also have a scene where these escaped elephants are running around at an airport, which causes an incoming plane, which is supposed to be landing, to basically crash and just explode like a nuclear bomb. We have a train, people riding in a train gets attacked by tigers. They burst through the windows. And then basically while all this is happening, the little girl who I mentioned at the start, she's at school. And she's basically, I guess it's some dance or gymnastics class given by the outfits they're wearing. But she's in school, so all this is happening. They're in the school, and all of a sudden the power goes out after this plane crashes. So all the kids are kind of scared, and they're in the dark. Next thing you know, there's a goddamn polar bear breaking into the school. A real polar bear. And it's basically chasing after these kids. And while these kids are being chased and stuff by this polar bear, we all these kids are running, trying to find a better place to hide. And one of the kids grabs all these kitchen knives and he gives them to the kids, and he's like, "Here, use this for self-defense. Here, use that for self-defense." Like, it's just weird the way he says it. Again, he has an overdubbed voice like an adult man for this little kid. And it ends up that they're all hiding in this school place. And what it should be mentioned too, that the daughter, the young girl who I mentioned at the start of the movie, she has this little squeaky toy. It's like this frog, and whenever you step on it, it's like, I can't scream, but it just makes this just terrible noise. And the little kid's kind of nuts, honestly. She calls her mom sometimes when she's at work, and she just like has the puppet by the phone, and she's like, "Mother, we need to go up, and then to the left, to the right. He doesn't know what's happening." Like, she just calls and like says, not exactly in those words, but she just calls her mom and says crazy stuff, and the mom's like, "Sometimes I want to strangle that little shit." Like, it's funny stuff like that. But anyway, so these kids are all cooped up in this school, being attacked by a polar bear, because that's what happens when you're in school. And basically, the kids have grabbed these knives for self-defense, and they're hiding in this room. And basically, near the end of the movie, the mom finally comes to get the daughter, and sees that the teacher that they were hiding with was stabbed to death. And then these little kids come out with the knives, and you get this weird scene where it's like the mom's not sure if her daughter has turned crazy either. So I guess basically what happened was these kids drank the PCP water. Now they've gone crazy, and then they start. Finally, the mom and daughter, they just have this weird staring contest for like 15 minutes, and then finally she runs and hugs her mom. She's like, "Mom!" And then all the kids have their knives and they start attacking. So it's a crazy twist. It's like we have all these escaped animals, and now we have crazy kids chasing the teacher and her daughter with knives, or sorry, the mom and daughter with the knives, and they killed the teacher. So the PCP's not just gotten to the animals, now it's gotten to the human beings, and it's kind of crazy. And I guess maybe the movie's kind of saying that maybe the real beasts are the people, not the animals, which you kind of think too while you're watching this movie. So it's a totally crazy movie. There's a lot of scenes, like I said, with all the scenes with the animals are real animals. They're very well choreographed. The gore effects when someone's like bitten or something on the arm, very gory and very good, well done effects for a movie. I don't know what the budget is on this film, but it's a well-made movie. So sorry, I kind of jumped all over the place, but this movie kind of is all over the place. There's just scenes here, scenes there. Basically, near the end of the movie, I guess the PCP's worn off of a lot of these animals, and they capture them. So they save the tigers, they save the polar bear, and I guess he brings them back to the zoo. They don't show that exactly, but yeah. So there are some animals too, like I mentioned in this film, that are actually abused or killed in the movie. Nothing like dogs or cats, but there are rats, and there are possibly a cat. But so that's a little bit not very nice. But overall, this is a crazy movie. I don't think there's a lot of movies like this. It's definitely a movie only the Italians could do. I did enjoy it for the most part. Like I mentioned, the gore effects are great. Really good music as well. And it's just a cool film. Basically, when it ends, after these kids are like chasing them, it just comes up at this thing. It's like PCP has now gotten into the water source of the people. So I guess the havoc really hasn't ended. But back to what I thought of the movie, it was an enjoyable film. Totally crazy, and there's not many movies like that use real animals to that extent. A couple of notes from people: Mondo style shocks at a vivid reminder of a lost era of pure exploitation cinema. A mind blower: one viewing of this film will reveal that Prosperi ended his directing career as outrageous as it began. So this video is kind of going on for a long time. Try to do a quick thing. Special features: we have an interview with the director, interview with actors and actresses, interview with the editor, interview with the animal wranglers, House of Wild Beasts, a visit to the home of Franco E. Prosperi, the director, and international trailer. So overall, this was an enjoyable film. I got it for a good deal. Just a single disc Blu-ray, basically looks like that. Very cool artwork too. There's this one with the panther, and then there's another one with like a tiger on the cover. So that's Wild Beasts. Just crazy stuff here. Crazy Italian movie about animals totally destroying a town and its people. So if you let me know if you've seen Wild Beasts, what you think of it, and thank you very much for watching this crazy review too. So we will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care.